Kia ora, kia orana, maloni, malolelei, aloha, talofa, pola, whakalofa lai atu. And welcome to another episode of Tagaloa Tradition Teachings. It's where we unveil the principles, the ethics, and the moral values of our spirituality, which are woven into our culture. So when we live our daily lives according to our culture, we are actually practicing our spirituality, which is how our ancestors lived their lives back in the day. The objective of this podcast is decolonization, spiritual decolonization. We believe that it's time that we restore back in its rightful designated place, Tagaloa, the mana of Moana, that spiritually engineer the thoughts in our minds, the words that we speak, and the actions that we take. So we live our lives aligned with our spirituality based on Tagaloa, the mana of Moana. Once again, welcome to another episode of Tagaloa Tradition. This is a Moana spiritual revival. This week I want to talk about a ritual in our Samoan culture called Faatulima. Faatulima. Faatulima is the term we give to the acknowledgement and paying homage to a paramount chief when he enters the village meeting house. You see, the first Monday of every month, every village in Samoa has a meeting, a council meeting of all the paramount chiefs of the village. And this is where they go over the affairs and the events of the past month and see if there were anything that were kind of off-center and need to be addressed. And they also look at events that are in the near future that they could prepare for. So the first Monday of every month is when they have this village council meeting. And as they wait upon the arrival of all the chiefs, as they come in one by one into the meeting house, this is where the Faatulima happens. Faatulima is all the other chiefs that are already there acknowledge your entrance, your coming in, and how they do that acknowledgement is by revisiting the origin of the title that you hold, revisiting the event that gave birth to the title that is now bestowed upon you. So it's all in light-hearted, good humor, joshing type of feeling, but at the same time, they are addressing, acknowledging the lineage from which you come. They are acknowledging the heritage of the chiefly title of your family. What that does is it does a few things. First of all, it acknowledges the fact that every chief that is in the house are just mere mouthpieces, for a lack of a better word, mouthpieces for the title itself. It's almost like saying that the persona, the personality is not that important. What is important is the event that led to the title that must be remembered for generations to come. So when this acknowledgement is done, to whom the acknowledgement is paid upon, he would feel a certain degree of being acknowledged, and his presence, or rather the presence of his family, is acknowledged by the participants of the council meeting. It's being acknowledged by the community. So every chief that comes in, they will do this Faatulima. Growing up, I didn't understand it. And I thought at the time, what does it mean? Is it that important that we have to? But now that I'm older and like to think wiser, I think it's very important. It's the acknowledging of family to family in the village community of who you are and the respect that you deserve to be seated at the post where you now dwell in the meeting of the village. Faatulima. Faatulima is a revisit of the origin of the title now bestowed by your family upon you. Huge importance. And so as each chief comes in, everyone in the house acknowledges your arrival, acknowledges your presence, but you are just a figurehead of all the lineage of ancestors who were in their time blessed with the chiefly title that you now hold. That is how deep the spirituality of our culture is. Acknowledging where we came from. So it depicts and defines our destiny of where we're heading. Because they say that you don't know where you're going if you have no idea of where you're from. So the Faatulima is a reminder, it's a revisit and a resurgence within us spiritually of who we are and what we are. So the next time as a youngster going into or thereabouts in the vicinity of where the council meeting is at, when you hear the Faatulima, listen intently if you can pick, especially if the high chief of your family, listen if you can pick some of the things that were raised in the acknowledgement when they pay honorific to the chiefly title of your family, and see if you can make the connection. And I think that is a nice guiding light for us in our voyaging this week, is knowing what our ancestors put in place so that our lineage, our heritage, and where we come from is never forgotten, and it's always innate within us. In closing, I just want to say this to all the members of Moana, all the island nations of Moana. Every week I speak about things Samoan. It's because they are the things that I know of and I think I can speak about. But what I would like to share with you on these podcasts on Sundays is if you would like to share a story from your island nation of Moana that you would like for me to tell on our program, and maybe add a little theological or spiritual spin to it, to our legend story, to your legend story, I would love to hear from you. Tagaloa.tradition@gmail.com. Maybe there's a link to a story from your island nations. Maybe it's Niue, Tokelau, Tonga, Fiji, Maoris in New Zealand, Aotearoa, Hawaii. If you have a story that you feel you would love to hear on the program, I will do my very best, and I would love to tell the story for you and for all of us. And from all the sons and daughters of Moana in our indigenous island nations, to all our family and friends who are out there in the world, in the diaspora, stay blessed, and until next Sunday, so long.